sorry for bad picture.
Bobbi Adams. I was 15 years old when I moved here in 1947. Then I married Oscar Adams Jr. and he had moved here in 1931 when he was 2 years old. He was the son of Oscar Red and Bobbi Adams, and we are the parents of 3 children. We have 5 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. That makes 5 generations of Adamses who have lived or are living here at this community. I love this place, don't y'all? Yes. It's good to see all of you here, and we thank you for putting forth the effort to come. Most of us here are what some might call, we're not spring chickens anymore. We're especially proud to have our 2 oldest residents here today, Thelma Freytet and Cleon Selman Williams Carter. I think Thelma will be 97 years old her next birthday, which I think is next month. And Cleon is 91 and will be 92. And I'm telling you, Thelma can still climb upstairs, and Thelma remembers everything. They have found the fountain of youth, so you people that have moved off, you should have stayed here. Maybe you would have stayed there. Now let's talk about the school. Some say that the old Chance School started in 1902, and if that's so, that would make us 107 years old as a school. In 1956, Chance and Loeb Common School Districts voted to consolidate, and Chance had built new buildings a few years earlier, and Loeb's buildings were old and in need of repair. The wooden buildings were moved to the site where the early childhood school is on Highway 96. We only had grades 1 through 8, with grades 9 through 12 going to Silsby and Kuntz, and we had 2 school buses. I don't know why, but you know, Chance people always thought they were better than the Loeb people. And you know, when they put the school districts together, there was a little conflict there too. Gosh, the Burges and the Leatherwoods and who else lived at Loeb? You know, we did it. Joel come home from school and he said, Mama, I don't like those old Loeb people. He said, they all got white hair and freckles. But anyway, we've all stayed together. And then when they put the 2 buildings together, I guess it was somewhere around 1957 when Joel started to school, and that was the first year, I believe, that we had school down there, and he was in the old blue buildings. And then in about 1960, maybe 59 and 60, well, they built the new schools, but we still only had grades 1 through 8. And then our name was changed to Lumberton from Chance Loeb, using the name of the Lumberton switch over here on the old railroad on the old Silsby Highway. Kuntz and Silsby had been phasing us out 1 grade at a time, and so we had to have a place for our kids to go to school, so the high schools was being planned. You know, this little community has grown a lot, but it's had good leadership. And they've done a great job. Just look at this building. Bob Agnew worked his heart out for this, and the other people too. And we have good buildings, a good neighborhood, and it's just a wonderful place. But in 1968 was the first graduating class of high school out here. And I think we had about 25 or 26 kids that graduated. Everybody has got a different answer. Some of the kids failed, and so they didn't graduate, but I think there might have been about 25 or 26. And they also changed the name. We were known as the Chancellor Yellow Jackets. So all of you little boys that were little boys then and had lived out here, you were a Yellow Jacket. But then they changed the name to the Lumberton Raiders. And at first our little football players were so strong. They were little bitty boys, never had played football in their life. And abs was not a known word to them. Football was a new sport. They didn't know much about the game. But bless their hearts, they tried and they were not quitters. And our community turned out in full support. Marcus Bowman is here today, and he was always the announcer. And he had such a good voice. He should be up here doing this. But there were no empty seats in the stands, and we had pretty good seating capacity for stands too. Oscar and the other men, they all went down there and they worked on that thing. They welded, they made equipment. They just work. It's been a working community ever since I've ever been here. So anyway, some Beaumont schools gave us their old uniforms and their old equipment and their shoes. Those old shoes were as hard as rocks. And you know, our kids had little feet. An 8 was about the normal size of a boy, and I'll tell you, those old football shoes were size 15. But anyway, and the mamas tried to take up the uniforms to make them fit. Alterations went on, but it just did not succeed. So we finally got some new uniforms, and they were Columbia blue, silver, and red. At school, we only had one phone line and 2 phones. One, and our only coach, Andy Anderson, came in the office one day, and he said, "Miss Adams, could I use the phone?" I said, "Oh, sure." So he stood there, and he talked to this coach that, I don't know why this thing does it. But anyway, he talked to the coach that we were going to play that night, and he said, "No," he said, "I really don't think my little boys are going to do too good." He said, "You know, they're little kids. They've never played before. They're all nervous. Some of them even cry." And he said, "I just don't think they're going to do too good." And he said, "Just to let you know how dumb they are." One of the boys came up to me, and he said, he had this jockey strap, and he held it up, and he said, "Coach, does this jockey strap go on the inside or the outside of the coach?" So anyway, but they tried, and they weren't quick. The kids were not quick. And we had such a few that the boys had to play both ways, and they would just be give out. Joel would look like Twiggy coming down the hall the next morning. I'm telling you, they played their guts out. But now the players have gotten bigger and better through the years, and they have persevered, and with the help of Coach Alvin Prater, and he's one of our homegrown boys, and his coaching staff, we are doing good. Now, you know, used to it was, well, we never got to buy district, we never got to district. It would be like, have y'all ever seen that movie Giants, when these poor little boys were trying to play ball and they just get beat so bad? Marcus, don't you think one time that we get beat about 90-something nothing or something? We all kept going. You just had the love and the pride for your kids, you know, and you just go and you just cheer and you just yell, and everybody had a good time. But now, last year, the kids won, or year before last, they won 3 games on their way to state. And if you ain't never seen nothing in your life, if you was over there on the high school side of the road, the buses pulling out, the people going to those games, it was something else. But our schools have grown so much from the little 3-room school that they had the chance when I came here. We have 5 campuses now, and they're located on Highway 96 and 69. And we have 3,905 students. 681 employees, 15 coaches, 23 buses making double routes each day, with approximately 1,500 riding the bus each day. And They even offer Lamar University classes at the high school. And 681 employees, I believe I've already told you that. I think when I went to work, there was 11 teachers, and there was Miss Cook, and Billy Skelton, and me. And I guess the superintendent and the principal. It was just a little bitty bunch of people, though. We all would have, I had to count lunch money, and I had to get, we just had to share offices. There was just, when they built the little school, I don't think they thought we would ever grow, but we did. Integration hit, Beaumont, people moved out here in trailers, they moved out in tents. So then they began to lie that they lived out here, and they would come to register their kid, and one lady said one day, I said, "Where do you live, ma'am?" And she said, "Oh, I live on Wiggs Chance." And I said, "Well, about where do you live?" And she said, "Do you know where that yellow house is?" I said, "No, I don't believe it." And she said, I said, "What is your address?" And I think at that time my mailbox was Route 3 box something. She gave my address. I said, "Lady, I live there. I live there, and there's no yellow house." And she said, "Well, you can't blame me for trying." But you know, we would get 40 and 50 kids out of that. It was worse than when we had the lice and had to send the kids home. The kids would have, we started that later. When we first started working, we didn't have lice. But then all at once the lice hit, and they hit with the vengeance. And at first we'd go in a classroom and we'd say, we'd go up and we'd say, "Oh, baby, how are you doing? You sure have pretty hair." And we'd be doing pretty hair. And then you'd go to the teacher, she'd either send that one to the office. But then later on, it got so bad, you just walked in there and you said, "I'm in here to check for head lice." And when you said that, all of the kids down their heads, and you just went through and checked everybody, and you may drag 40 or 50 kids to the office and call their mamas. One came up, and they worried. She said, "Lakeitha, get in the trunk." It was terrible, y'all. And the little kids would say, "I had lice, I'm going to get to go home." Well, I come down and told Oscar, I said, 42 kids home today with lice. He said, "You going to keep on, Bobby, till you bring them things on to us." And I said, "Yeah, you're going to have a hell of a case to that all." But anyway, to get back to school, we've even got like a $30 million budget. Now, can you imagine that? When used to, the kids had to pull the bitter weeds. You know, there was no mowing or nothing like that going on. But now they got people in the maintenance department. We could have, I guess, a security place, you know, all that stuff. I guess they quit whipping kids and started having security. Now, I want you to close your eyes and you think about a 10-year-old child growing up out here. Just think now. Close your eyes. Think of the smells, the woodsy smells as you walk through the trails to school or to church, or to your friends or relatives. The smell of the wildflowers you picked on your way. The smell of washpot fires and live soap. The smell of hog killing time, and especially the scraping the hair off. The smell of the smoke from the smokehouse as the meat cured. The smell of the hams and sausage and the middens that was made bacon out of, hanging up on the rafters on the pole. The smell of the cows and calves and manure as you milk. And as you sat on the stool and you squirt the milk in the cats' faces and then watching them lick it off. The smell of the fresh plowed dirt in the fields and the gardens as the grounds was ready for planting. The quietness, the singing of the birds, you could hear sounds of axes as wood was being chopped. The lowing of cows at milking time. The sounds of well pulleys creaking as you drove the water. The sounds of mules and horses being told what to do with get-ups, whoas, gees, and haws. Chickens crowing and cackling, dogs barking. All of this maybe 3 miles away. You could holler and your neighbor could hear you. The sounds of the few cars that went up and down the road, and very few airplanes. Do you remember going barefoot, itching from the ticks and the redbud bites? Hot summer time, bathing in the number 3 wash tub, running down the path to the toilet, picking black bears and watching out for snakes, getting to go swimming in the creek. Well, most of this is all gone today, and to a lot of it we say thank God. But some of it we still miss, especially our people. This year we have lost Joellen Pickering Trahan, Joellen maybe a history of this place, and so he's been talking to a few of us, and he's a real good kid, and I just love him. And they say, David, where are you, hon? There you go, right over there. So we're glad to have you with us. And before we get started on the other part, I have something that I found. Anyway, I have some books. When we moved from the old school down here to primary school, we brought all the books with us since my principal was in charge of the books. So anyway, he said, Bobby, we have got to get rid of all these old books. We don't need them anymore. And I said, well, I just can't burn them up. So I looked through them and I found these books, and I'm going to call your name and I want you to come up and pick up the book. Now, I've had these things for probably 30 years, so I'm sure there's dust on them. The first one goes to Lynn Ray Patel.
you do a good job. Well, our mayor was asked to be here today. He had a charity golf tournament to go to, and he couldn't be here. But he sends everybody his best wishes. He said if he got through in time, he'd swing by. I'm on the city council here in Lumberton, and Mayor Pro Tem to kind of handle things while he's not here. And I don't know how good of a job I'm going to do because it's the first time I've ever taken his place. I didn't really care about getting up in front of the class when I was in school, and there's not a whole lot that's changed since then. But we're proud of our city. I finished chant school over here in 1951. There was a pretty good sized graduating class that year. There was 4 of us. And I'll tell Alvarez that I've been smarter than she is all these years. I was valedictorian and she was salutatorian. I think I beat her out by like 1/100th of a point or something like that. But it's been an ongoing joke with us all these years. We're proud of our city. Butch Cummins is with us today. He's our Justice of the Peace for Precinct 5. We're glad to have David here with his newspaper, and he writes a great column. He brought some extra papers, the Observer. Be sure and pick one up. I brought some brochures from the Chamber of Commerce to show you just what happened in Lumberton, in the last few years, and we're very proud. Our city we have approximately 40 employees. We're able to give them anywhere from a 3 to a 5% raise each year. We have a very good people that's work for us. Every building that the city has is paid for. Every police car is paid for. We have 3, and we had 3 wrecks here recently. None of them was our officers' fault, so we're getting new patrol cars. But everything that the city owns and drives is completely paid for. The only thing that the city owes is our light bill, water bill, phone bill, stuff like that. We're very solid. We have approximately $8 million in the bank, including EDC money. We have a lot of new projects that's on the agenda. We have annexed some more property down 421, and there's a lot of things that the city does that nobody hears about. One of the things that you will notice in the next year is along the old highway, we're planting wildflowers. It's going to be real pretty this time of the year. There's so many things that's going on that's positive for the city. We're very proud of our city. And I feel honored that I'm able to serve on the city. It's a very good experience. Good people to work with. Our mayor is up for re-election. And I personally am going to vote for him. He's a very good man.
You do the property tax too.
We do all of this. The city of Lumberton does not have a property tax. We have people calling our city secretary from all over the country that wants to know how in the world can you run a city and do what you do and pay the salaries that you do and you don't have a city tax. Well, it's just good management. We're able to do that. We've been very positive in getting grants for the city for a lot of the improvements. We've removed from hurricane devastation almost 80 residences and clean lots and stuff like that. There's more to come. The city has already donated $500,000 to give to the state of Texas to buy the right-of-way on 69 over there if they ever decide to widen. They're building a new Akenta hotel over there right now. 3 stories, 53 rooms, fixing to start a Best Western, 56 rooms, conference room. They're already building a new Sonic over there. The same man that owns the one down here. When it goes into operation, he's going to tear this down and double the size of it. A lot of other things that's going on. There's a group that just purchased either 13 or 17 acres down close to the Y for a new clinic and imaging center, which is a real good thing. I can't think of a whole lot else. I'm glad to see everybody here.
Bo, I want to tell you that I remember when the city was formed. Oscar Adams was the mayor. I was on the council, and he immediately appointed me as secretary because I was the only female. Y'all have a regular secretary now.
That's right.
That'd get sued today, wouldn't it?
You remained Keith Gary with us. Keith didn't go to school out here, but you remained in.
No, but he was on the school board whenever,
Right.
the second year that the school consolidated.
Right. Keith was a U.S. Marshal for a number of years. Now he's the sheriff around Sherman, Texas, I believe. I don't think he had an opponent this last time, so that kind of tells you old Keith doing a good job.
We had to move away from here so I could quit being Eva Mae's husband. Now she's my wife.
But anyway, that's about all that I have. I can't think of anything else. That I really enjoyed my days at the old Chant School. My mom was born in 1904. She attended that same school. She lived across the creek. There was a ferry down there. And if she missed the ferry to cross the creek to get to this side, she had to walk the railroad track. And so the school went back a very long way. We used to play Annie Over, that old 3-room schoolhouse. We'd throw that ball over and then beat around the building trying to hit somebody with that old rubber ball. A lot of good memories. Bob, that's about all I have.
This is Tommy Barclay. This is Hardy and Tom Barclay's son, and Hardy was the Shanks, and so he's going to tell you about what he knows about the Shanks family and how they have schools their way.
All right. I don't know if this is totally accurate or not, but it was told to me by my oldest cousin, who's Marilyn Shanks. She was the oldest daughter of Alan Shanks, and whose grandfather was Ed Shanks. And they built the old Shanks home that's up here on the Shanks Cutoff Road. It was built in 1875. And she was told the story by her Uncle Will, who was my great uncle. And that was my grandpa Ed's oldest son. And at the time, this was in the early 1800s. I'm not sure about the date. But anyway, they didn't have a school. There wasn't that many people here. There wasn't just a few. But anyway, there was finally enough. There was 10 or 12 kids in the neighborhood, and they needed a school. And so they got together, the people in the neighborhood got together and hired a teacher. And somebody let them stay in a room. I'm not sure who it was. But anyway, there was an old shed out just west of the old Chance place. And it's where my great-grandpa kept his goats. And Uncle Will's job was, that's where they set up the schoolhouse. Uncle Will's job was to go out every morning before school and clean out the goat shed. And so, this, like I say, this was in the early 1800s. And at some point in time after that, after the community started growing a little bit, they moved over here and built the other schoolhouse. But that's all I know about the origination of the school.
Well, you be thinking about your favorite story. We're going to play Can You Top This? So, I know there's been stories, and I probably won't be able to talk anymore, but I'm going to tell my story right now. When I was a senior in high school, we were on the bus, and there were 16 kids that rode the bus on to Silsbee to school, but we picked up all the Chance kids. And Joe Green was on the bus, and he was probably in the 3rd grade, 2nd or 3rd grade, little bitty boy, little bonehead boy. And he got on the bus that Valentine's morning, and he handed me a Valentine, and he said, "Here." And his little face turned just as red as fire. I always think of Joe on Valentine's Day, and he told me that he always thought of me too. So next year I'm expecting the roses. But I do love Joe, and I'm so proud all of you are here. And some of you have come a long way. And Jean Leatherwood is here, and she's going to come up here. We have a few little gifts that we're going to give away. And so, Jean, why don't you come on up here, please? So, if y'all want all that, you want to talk some more, and you know, when Oscar was alive, I guess good things come out of everything. As soon as we ate the offices, let's go Bobbi. So, but now I want us all to stay a while to visit. And here comes Maxine, and they say anymore, I can't even remember who they are. She was in my class, mine and Arthur George's class, and I guess we're the only 3 here out of that class. Okay.
I just wanted to introduce the committee that's been working on this. Of course, Bobbi, we know Bobbi is both. And my sister Dale Leatherwood McKnight is back at the desk. And Joanne Jackson, where is Joanne? She's standing back in the back. Most of them are Joanne. And then, Ann, where's Ann? Ann Templeton back there. Okay. We've been having some meetings and I didn't do very much. I was doing all the work. Anyway, let's give it all of a hand, please.
Well, for our girls that found the Fountain of Youth, Cleon and Thelma, we're going to give them the flowers. And they were donated to us by the new little shop down here, Weldon Flowers. His wife owns it, and it's down there in front of Beth Marshall's house. I don't know the addresses out here or nothing. I just say where somebody lives. So we're going to give those flowers to them. So after the meeting is over, be sure you take the flowers home. And now we have another gift. Let's see, for the ones that came the furthest. I bet you it's keeping you, but well, I don't really know. And how long did it take y'all to get through you tonight?
6.5 hours, about 355 miles.
Okay. Anybody caught that?
What about the Ross?
The who?
Charles Ross.
How far do you live, Charles?
It's about 250 miles.
Well, you lost that one. So, you've made a key, and then we have an extra, and we're going to give it to Charles, because he put forth an effort to get here, and I appreciate that. You know, you get up, when you get this age, you get up in the morning, you don't know where you're going to get to go on. And you either got to take Imodium AD, or you've got to take something for your cough or something like that. But anyway, thank God we're all here today one more time. And I have just enjoyed this so much. I've talked to people that I hadn't talked to in 100 years, I guess. And some of them assured me they would be here today. But when you're 86 and 89 years old, you know, things come up. So we thank all of you for coming. And did you give the gifts to them, Joanne?
I'm going to.
Okay, to Keith and Yuba May and to Charles Robb. Okay, thank you. Now,
We're going to ask Bobbi to say.
okay, and this is my other little boy, Robert Roy Templeton. The first time I ever saw Bobby, he was probably 3 or 4 years old, and he came down to play with Ronnie. And I said, "Mom, what's your name?" And he said, "Well," down his little ones, his hat. He said, "Well, my name is Robert Roy Templeton, but you can just call me Roy Rogers." I love Roy. So he's going to say our blessing, and we're all going to have our blessing.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for another day people that made the effort to be here today. Lord, we thank you for all the preparations that were made for this reunion. Lord,